Ever get the feeling you're being watched? Me neither. Sunless Sea was easily one of my favorite games of 2015. With its unforgiving gameplay, rich living world, and eldritch horrors, it was easily a game in which I could sink hundreds of hours. So naturally, when I heard Fail Better Games was working on a sequel that would take this series from somewhere beyond the sea to somewhere over the rainbow, I was ecstatic. I made that exact same joke in another video about an entirely different series. Gold star if you can tell me which. Anyway, Sunless Skies holds much the same spirit as its predecessor. Instead of sailing the undersea, you'll be taking locomotives to exploring the treacherous skies of the Reach. Don't think about it too hard. Like the previous game, your main objective will be to explore, visit exotic port towns, and manage resources. Same deal. Run out of fuel, you're dead. Run out of supplies, you'll begin cannibalizing your crew. And gain too much terror? Well, there's a lot more leeway than last time, but I hope you didn't enjoy that mind of yours because you'll more than likely lose it. Speaking of leeway, this game actually does change up the mechanics a bit. Now, Sunless Sea was so memorable for me not only due to its rich lore, but just the sheer unforgiving atmosphere. With it being a roguelike, the map changed almost every time you had to start over. Along with this, you could easily spiral downwards when selecting a new lineage. If you didn't figure out how to make a will, or just didn't have enough money, then your next captain was back to square one. Die multiple times in a row, and you can go from riches to rags real quick. Sunless Skies, however, greatly alleviates this issue. With a new banking system, you can not only store items to pick up between major ports, but these items will be passed on to future captains. On top of that, while the map is procedurally generated, it only changes if you change your lineage. So while your chart will be incomplete when you die, the ports won't move. Oh, and by the way, there are 4 entirely separate areas to explore this time around. Now the combat, this may be the largest improvement. Your locomotive can not only move 360 degrees, but you can also strafe. So rather than sailing in circles and hoping you can avoid projectiles, you can actually stand a chance against high-level enemies, even if your locomotive isn't the best. Speaking of, even your ships are passed down in your lineage. On top of all of this, there are far more opportunities to earn money, ranging from using your connections to buy low and sell high at different ports, to, of course, the ever-popular smuggling. Now, you may have noticed that the graphics this time around have been smoothed out and do look pretty good overall. But I want you to look at this clip. Now, I want you to look at the locomotive. Then the background. Then the multiple layers of background. There are so many rich and unique environments in this game that you will legitimately go from frost-ridden peaks to a sea of darkness, and of course, the sun. The music in this game is just delightful. These games are by no means short, and if you decide to go for all of the endings, you are looking at easily over 100 hours. As such, you are going to hear the same music over and over again. Well, thankfully, many ports have their own unique scores, there are unique pieces for exploring, and there is even a hectic violin piece once your sanity starts rapidly descending. The Fallen London universe has some incredibly deep and fascinating lore. Sunless Skies is no exception. Each and every port has its own unique world, and most of them offer an entire questline. Want to prospect for time-controlling gems? Go for it. Care to help a circus get their act together? You can. You can even play politics and attempt to influence the balance of power in the Reach. But I was downright giddy once I realized just how much of Sunless Sea is referenced here. It may not be apparent at first, but once the pieces start falling into place, you'll find that the writing, atmosphere, creatures, and even NPCs all tie into the previous game and wonderfully bring these stories together. I'm still having a blast playing this game, and I would highly recommend checking this out if you enjoyed Sunless Sea, or if you're interested in a challenging but fascinating world. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear. And the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown.